Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Saturday, the 17th of May 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post put on chain. Right, let's see what we got today. We've got to go over these posts here from CSW. It looks like he's having a whale of a time. Living life and trolling the trolls by the looks of it. Great fun. Looking forward to getting to that. We've got to talk about the rift that's happening over in the BTC camp with the shitcoin small blockers accusing Core of going rogue and putting spam on the network. I mean, it's hilarious. This is exactly the same argument that we had back in 2017. You know, I mean, 8 years ago now, and they're doing the same again. It's hilarious. Can't help themselves, can they? Got some articles here from Cointelegraph that I want to go over. CoinGeek has got an article here saying BSVPowered Micropayments for pay-per-use infrastructure. Sounds good. We'll have a quick look at the figures. Some 365 days of Bitcoin history. And then that'll be at the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
Greg says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, here we go. Right, let's have a look at this then. So, a post here from Craig, the latest one, 16 hours ago. Look at this. The definition on his arms and all that. Losing weight and kayaking every morning and getting out and about. Still studying, still posting. I mean, the guy's an absolute machine. An absolute machine. But good to see him recovering after his, after the utility truck pulled out on him. It looks like that's a fantastic. That is a phenomenal recovery. So chuffed to bits with that. Let's see what he says. So he says, hang in there. Now, could this be an indirect message to the genuine Bitcoin community? Could he be saying, hang in there? Who knows? Sounds like he might be saying that, but he said there's a rhyme in the rhythm in the crag, in the grain of the rock, like logic locked into a sheer face of indifference. Fingers chalked white, body angled against the indifferent laws of friction and gravity. The climber doesn't hope, he calculates. Every move is earned, not given. Every hold is weighed, not imagined. This is the difference between belief and proof, between telling yourself it's possible and showing the cliff that it is. You don't fake your way up stone. You don't virtual signal your way up the top. You hold on, you commit, you fall. Or you hold on, you commit, or you fall. You hang there. You hang there when every muscle screams, not because it's brave, but because it's necessary. It's truth, not philosophical fluff, not hollow platitude, but not number go up delusions, but proof of work in the real world. No bailout coming, no retweet will save you, just sweat, pain, technique, and tenacity. That's what it means to hang in there. You know, that could be a very good metaphor for all of us, you know, genuine Bitcoiners fighting the fight, you know, awake to the fraud and awake to the tyranny that's being imposed on the world right now. You know, this extremist religious philosophy written about in the book of Revelation, like, jeepers. It is crazy, and Bitcoin is the only way out. Literally the only way out. So, sounds to me like Satoshi Nakamoto himself is just telling us to hang in there. Hold your nerve. You know, we've been in it for this long. You know, like literally, what's a few months or even another year gonna make? What difference is it really gonna make? You know, we know where we're headed anyway. You know, the banks are going to literally like wipe all of their records. We're all going to be on a CBDC that is going to be on a time limit that we have to spend, or else they're going to delete it because we don't need it. You know, that's what's coming. Like literally, we're talking like that Justin Timberlake movie with time, but instead of it being finances they were deleting, it was literally your life. They were deleting when you run out of time. So you graft for time, and then when your time runs out, that's it. You pop your clogs. And then all the elite they've all got like an infinite amount of time on them. You know, that's literally what we're heading towards. I literally sometimes have to pinch myself and say, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. But, you know, crazy. He's got another post here saying cultural appropriation. The word gets thrown around like a hammer, smashing every instance of cross-cultural exchange as if it were a crime scene. But here I sit, eating a dish that proudly proclaims itself Asian. Is it fiery, rich, layered, with centuries of identity, while the chilies burning on my tongue trace their lineage not to Sichuan or Thailand, but to South America. Brought over by the Portuguese, like so many ingredients during the age of the spice routes, they were adopted, adapted and transformed. They became something new. No one screams appropriation when Japanese cuisine showcases tempura, which came by way of Iberia missionaries. No one strips Vietnamese dishes off of French techniques woven into a banh mi. Oh, I can't pronounce that. Cafe. Sua da. I can't pronounce that. Because when it comes to food, we celebrate this. Is it syncretism? We devour it, we elevate it. The very idea of Asian food as we know it. Curry with chili, kimchi with red pepper flakes, sambal with a brutal heat depends on the collision of continents, the exchange of seeds and spices, languages and habits. Cultures don't live in seeded jars. They ferment, they blend, they become. The hypocrisy lies in weaponizing the term appropriation, selectively calling theft what is, in other contexts, survival, innovation and beauty. So as I savour this mingling of old and new world, I find it ironic those crying foul on appropriation often dine nightly on a plate full of it and call it heritage. Yeah, good point. That's a funny picture of Sailor there. Oh dear, Michael Saylor, the man who turned the word conviction into a cult chant while turning your portfolio into a toothless grin. Here we have the latest sermon from the gilded pulpit of leveraged delusion. Sell a tooth if you must, but keep the Bitcoin. It's poetic. If your idea of poetry involves dentistry without anesthetic and finance without sanity, Saylor's philosophy amounts to little more than self-cannibalization disguised as monetary enlightenment. This is a man who publicly liquidated his company's treasury into BTC at the top of the speculative frenzy and then declares the plebs who pawn their molars to keep their Ponzi inflated. It's easy to preach hodl theory when you're hedging in equity wrapped in options, while the average retail sucker eats ramen and dreams of Lambos they'll never drive. He's not a visionary, he's a priest in the temple of grift, offering a salvation in 21 million sacred units, while his congregation burns their actual assets in devotion. The only decentralization he's achieved is the distribution of delusion. Heavy words there, but absolutely agree with him. You know, like Saylor's probably read the white paper and was so enamored by it, he thinks the BTC is Bitcoin, not realizing that the deep state technical team have completely altered the code. In fact, he even made a point of it. He goes, you don't ever change Bitcoin. So he got in after 2017, so he has no idea about the politics that have gone on. It'll be interesting to see if he's actually looking at the latest politics, you know. Talking about the latest politics, let's get on with this then. Whoa! Right, let's have a listen. Here we go.
Here's where I start to get incredibly annoyed.
Really?
Because there are two sides to this debate. And on one side, you have a bunch of people like me,
shitcoiners who believe in small blocks and actually believe the narrative that the deep state technical team sold them beforehand.
Very, very committed to Bitcoin, and they've been around a long time. On the other side, you have Bitcoin Core,
who told them all their bullshit to start with that they believe, that are now reneging and going back on what they said.
Who are ruthlessly telling complete and utter bullshit, and we expect better from them. And I'm not.
So it's bullshit on their original bullshit is what he's calling. It's hilarious.
Not impressed at all. One of the README files was rewritten to accommodate the fact that this behavior was now possible. And this was the meme in the anti-spam side, that we were making fun of them for this, because we're saying you can't fix a bug by rewriting documentation to reflect the new behavior. The meme was the doctor shows you an x-ray with a broken rib saying, don't worry, we photoshopped it, and now it's not broken anymore. Like that, this was the equivalent of what they did.
So basically what he's saying is he's calling them on their bullshit because they're waking up to it, because this time what they did is so obvious. Whereas the thing is, though, they've completely sold and swallowed the Kool-Aid of their first bullshit, but now they're realizing that they're full of shit because they're not following through on the first bit of bullshit that this sort of swallowed and believed. Honestly, when are they going to realize it's literally bullshit on top of bullshit, and they fell for the first lot? Dear oh dear.
And it was, the way it was done was also, like, it's kind of hard not to see bad faith there in something that's really hard to look at as being, you know, not malicious. That was just not okay that happened, that they rewrote documentation to say that this was intended.
A controversial...
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Honestly, but like, oh yeah, we care about Bitcoin. Oh, we want it to be purely money. So in other words, they don't realize that Bitcoin is just NFT data. Literally, if that NFT data doesn't have a use case, it is an economically worthless security offering. And that's what they're promoting. This is hilarious. But anyway, this guy here, Guy, goes on and elaborates a bit more about the issue.
A controversial Bitcoin proposal, with tensions escalating into a small-scale civil war.
This is where they are removing the op return cap
within the Bitcoin community. These issues point to the possibility of a Bitcoin fork in the not-too-distant future. Recently, the developers of Bitcoin Core, the original and most widely used software implementation of the Bitcoin protocol, announced plans to remove a bit of code that currently exists in Bitcoin's architecture,
which is the op return code.
Now, this decision has opened up a huge rift in the Bitcoin community. What's crazy, though, is that this update is going ahead without the unanimous support of Bitcoin Core developers. Even more controversially, though, this change is being implemented without a proper community consensus process.
Oh, did you hear that? Without a proper community consensus process. I mean, honestly, there shouldn't even be any consensus. This is why the protocol needs to be fixed so that nobody can change it, and they're tampering with it.
Now, this is significant because many Bitcoiners do not agree with this change.
Bitcoin is built based on consensus now.
Here's where
Like, honestly, when are these shitcoiners with shit for brains gonna realize they've literally like drunk the Kool-Aid? It's literally lies on lies. You know, but the fact is, even removing the op return cap, personally, I think they're doing it so that they now have plausible deniability, because this is how the deep state get away with stuff. So if something happens, you know, and the market flips due to the utility on genuine Bitcoin, you know, they need to be able to place the finger of blame at someone else. If they're the ones who kept that 1 megabyte block cap in place, they can't say that we didn't do it. Because they're the ones who did. They're the ones who kept it in place. Now they're saying, oh, actually, we need to remove this op return limit so we can fit more shit in the block. And these other shitcoiners are going, oh no, we don't want any spam in there. So I think it's plausible deniability. When the market flips, they're going to turn around and blame these small blockers, which is why they're just simply railroading them and pushing it through. Literally just forging ahead with it, literally without even any consensus. When are this lot going to realise that it is centrally controlled? I mean, it's just absolutely hilarious that they haven't figured it out yet. Oh, they're just doing it anyway. What? Well, if they're doing it anyway, how can they do that if they don't control it? Oh, maybe they do. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh no, this post here, Bitcoin Magazine said just in, looks like the French, the blockchain group is up 1,100% over 6 months since the launch of their Bitcoin treasury strategy. Just like Strategy were doing. Look, it's a massive Ponzi scheme. Oh, we just buy the shares in our company and we'll use those shares to buy Gregcoin and put it on our balance sheet. Honestly, absolutely outrageous. Check this out though. Handash says, welcome to Handash Money. You may now send and receive money with Handash. Available on web and Android. Loving that. Yeah, if you look at your Handash wallet fascia, you'll see that money has now been added there, which is great. Loving that. More utility. Right, let's have a look at some of these articles then quickly. I wanted to have a look at this one, which is the Europe's MICA law is motion, but can the crypto industry keep up? With Tether stepping back and BitGo stepping up, MICA's rollout is already redrawing crypto's playing field in Europe. Here's what's happening and what comes next. The European Union's market in crypto assets regulation, better known as MICA, is now in its critical implementation phase, designed to unify crypto regulation across all 27 EU member states. The MICA promises clarity, consumer protection, and long-term market stability, but as implementation begins, cracks are already showing. In this week's episode of Bite Size Insight, we explore the key provisions of MICA now in force, particularly around stablecoins and why some of the largest players in the market are refusing to comply. Well, again, I mean, you know, fiat currency is a stablecoin, and they're saying, well, this is backed by fiat currency. So how can they say that stablecoin is a security or not regulated when it literally represents the fiat currency that this lot print? You know, what leg have they got to stand on? As of January 2025, crypto asset service provider began acquiring licenses to operate legally within the EU. A transitional or grandfathering period allows existing firms up to 18 months, depending on the member state, to comply. Still, with deadlines approaching, firms are being forced to act quickly. Stablecoins at Bay, one of the MICA's earliest and most controversial provisions, involves stablecoins. Under the law, no stablecoin can be offered to EU users unless the issuer is authorized in the EU and publishes a regulator-approved white paper. Strict rules around asset reserves, governance, conflict of interest, and marketing are also part of the package. Issuers are even banned from offering interest on tokens, removing a common incentive for adoption. The world's most usable stablecoin, Tether, most used stablecoin, Tether, has already announced it won't seek MICA compliance. No way! It's because they know they won't be able to comply if they do apply for it. No way! Meaning exchanges may soon be forced to delist it across the EU. This has major implications for liquidity, retail access, and DeFi activity in the region. Tether CEO Paolo Adorno told Cointelegraph's Gareth Jenkins at Token 2049, the reason is not a fear of regulators, fear of compliance. The problem is that the problem that I had with MICA is the license is very dangerous when it comes to stablecoins, and I believe that it's even more dangerous for the small medium banking system in Europe. He's just making excuses there. Compliance is key. On the flip side, other firms are leaning in. BitGo, a crypto custody firm, recently secured an MICA-aligned licenses in Germany, positioning itself to serve institutional players across Europe. Brett Reeves, head of Go Network and European sales at BitGo, told Cointelegraph the license is not just about compliance, but long-term strategic alignment with Europe's evolving regulatory landscape. We found that both BaFin and European regulators have been relatively straightforward to deal with. Sometimes there have been difficult questions, but they're there to make sure that our processes are in place and up to scratch. We also spoke with Erwin Volder, head of policy at the European Blockchain Association, who emphasised the need for consistent national level interpretation and better guidance from regulators to prevent fragmentation. Well, again, I mean, the regulators don't really know what to say because really we know that they want totalitarian control, and they're sort of losing totalitarian control by allowing the issuing of stablecoins because they want to introduce their CBDC. That's really what's going on. But will they be using them as a distraction? Again, away from Bitcoin, who knows? I mean, we're in a really precarious situation, as most people know. I think there was another one I wanted to look at here as well. Let's have a quick look. Maybe this one. From debanking to a banking arms race, the rise of stablecoins. Banks are rapidly pivoting away from the past practices of shunning crypto businesses to consider upgrading their payments infrastructure using stablecoins, eyeing them as the next frontier for payment innovation. There are a few historical examples of such a massive about-face for an industry, from banks debanking crypto businesses to now embracing stablecoins. Yeah, exactly. If you talk to most crypto startup founders or companies with crypto on the balance sheet, they will all have war stories about finding, applying for, and maintaining bank accounts. Over the past 3 years, over half of the debanking complaints have been lodged against 4 American banks. Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Citibank. Now, as the policies that discriminate against the crypto industry, like Operation Choke Point 2.0 and the rescission of controversial accounting rule SAB 121, have been repealed, a new openness to blockchain technology from the finance sector is possible. It is imperative that the banking industry stop shunning crypto and start at least understanding it to stay competitive. How stablecoins are deployed will separate the banking winners and losers. Indeed, so really, these stablecoin issuers, they all need to be on the Bitcoin network, which is BSV, because it's the only network. Well, it's the only network that can secure data. So it's the only digital network where the data can't be cracked out, altered, changed, or deleted, and it can scale for worldwide adoption. That is simply it. None of these other blockchain techs can scale large enough. They're literally stuck like Ethereum, like about 1.3 million transactions at the most. They can't do any more than that. They cannot scale. They don't know how to because they didn't create the technology, but we know who did, and that individual knows how to scale it, funnily enough. Not going to read all of that. Oh, 21 minutes gone already. Jeepers. Time flies when you're having fun. Right, let's have a look at this one then. BSV-powered micropayments for pay-per-use infrastructure. Probably won't have time to read all of this, but we'll just see what the introduction is like. As digital infrastructure, public Wi-Fi, cloud storage, Internet of Things devices become ubiquitous, the need for seamless low-cost payment systems grows. BSV, with its ultra-low transaction fees and high throughput, is uniquely positioned to create micropayment ecosystems for pay-per-use digital infrastructure, for incentivizing decentralized computing networks to enabling real-time payments for smart meters. BSV offers a scalable, secure framework that traditional payment systems cannot match. This article explores how BSV addresses the monetization challenges of digital infrastructure and its potential to reshape how we access and pay for digital services. The micropayment gap in digital infrastructure. Digital infrastructure relies on microtransactions to monetize usage, but traditional payment systems like credit cards or bank transfers are too costly for small value transactions. For example, charging 1 cent for a minute of public Wi-Fi incurs processes fees that exceed the revenue. This gap stifles innovation in pay-per-use models, from decentralized cloud storage to IoT-enabled smart cities. So how do we make sense viable? Blockchain-based micropayments offer a solution, but most blockchains are ill-suited for high-frequency, low-value transactions. Ethereum's high gas fees and BTC's limited throughput make them impractical for infrastructure scale use. BSV, with its scalable architecture and near zero fees, fills this niche, enabling a new era of pay-per-use digital services. Yeah, absolutely. Going to be absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. Yeah, and the reason it can sustain sort of like micropayments for pay-as-you-go, things like that, is because it's fixed in supply and going up in value. So, businesses with relatively small profit margins can survive and thrive because the value of the value that they're making is going up. That's basically how it works. That is a great article. Great article there. Shame I can't read it all because it's 23 minutes gone already. Let's have a quick look at this then. Quick look at the figures. $35 for Bitcoin. Well, transactions just 15.09. Block size 82.89. Relatively small blocks coming through there, but still massive compared to Gridcoin. 73,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gridcoin. Mining Bitcoin at a 51% comparable loss, so the shitcoin miners won't be anywhere near it. 3.4% more profitable to mine on Fisher Price Cash over Gridcoin. And 4.3% more profitable to mine on Bcrash over Gridcoin. But, that's much of a muchness. That will be reflected in the pie charts in a minute, which I'm looking forward to getting to because the politics is in the pie charts. We all know it. Let's have a look. Global hash rate 7 days, 24 hours. Gridcoin hash rate. Other miners 10.42. Bcrash. Look, other miners almost 60% on there. That cracks me up. That's why. And it's still more profitable to mine on Bcrash. Like 4.3% more profitable to mine on Bcrash, even though other miners have got to 57.64% on there. Oh, they're being eaten alive. Oh. Fisher Price Cash, who cares? And then we got Bitcoin. Well, we'll have to look at what's on chain to actually get a true overview of the mining there. Tau 29.2, Kuv 26.5, QD-Link 25.8, SA100 12.2, Gorilla Pool 6.12. Let's have a look at transactions over 24 hours. 58,936. Let's have a look at that. There we go. Yeah, 58,317. Yep, pretty much spot on there almost. Some 365 days of Bitcoin history. So on the 15th of May was, they call it Nakba Day. So basically we've got the Balfour Declaration signed on the 2nd of November 1917. Creating a particular state in the Middle East, and Nakba Day sort of recognises when this lot got off their boats and literally slaughtered everybody there. Absolutely horrendous. And they've been slaughtering everybody else since, pretty much, and not stopped. 15th of May 2011. There was a quote from, just more quotes from Bitcoin Talk there. What was this? May 14th. Someone said, should I transfer some money? No problem. Give me a public key. Okay, done. It's not fiction anymore. That was 14th of May 2011. Oh, so that, I wonder if that was posted on Bitcoin Talk. Yeah. So that post was actually posted on Bitcoin Talk. Yeah. Should I transfer some money? No problem. Give me a public key. Okay, done. That's it. Yeah. In the private, but transferring money. Easy. Loving that. That was back in 2011 when somebody realized how good it was. 15th of May 2024, the launch of Money, USD-backed stablecoin and BSV blockchain designed as currency for tomorrow. And it's literally just been listed on Handash. Could it have been the anniversary of it a couple of days ago? Let's have a look. Yeah, 15th of May. Would you believe it? So it was literally, they've done it on their anniversary. So on the anniversary of the launch of Money, Handash has now listed it in their wallet. Fantastic. Loving that. 16th of May 2011. So Greg Schoen said, I wish I'd kept my 1,700 BTC at 6 cents instead of selling them at 30 cents. Now they're $8. Well, mate, now they're $103,000. Like, did he buy back in? Oh, can you imagine? And the 17th of May. Oh, check this out. So on the 17th of May 2009, Laszlo Hanik posted out on a forum a request to buy pizza with Bitcoin. So this is when he posted out his request, and obviously that was fulfilled on the 22nd of May, which was Bitcoin Pizza Day. Check it out. What a fantastic story that was. Right, there we go. That's a 28-minute show. We'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed it. So, as ever, if you enjoyed these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi@Sendme.com, Handcash.io, RockWallet.me, Simply.cash, Relays.com, or Senti.ch. We'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
2 years ago, you got SegWit, which we lied and cheated and stealed, and I was part of the lying and cheating and stealing to get SegWit, to get Lightning, which, by the way, had critical vulnerabilities and lost people's money.
The king still has one more move.